Everyone, and welcome to tonight's postgame press conference featuring the Princeton Tigers. We will begin with an opening statement from head coach Carla Berube, followed by questions for student athletes Ellie Mitchell and Grace Stone. Once the players are dismissed, questions for Coach Berube will follow. Reminder to those of you that are joining us in person and on Zoom to state your organization before asking your question, and also a reminder to those joining us on Zoom to use the raised hand function. Go ahead and coach.
First, I want to just say thanks to University of Utah. It was a great weekend. Put together a really great bracket round here, and first and second round. So thank you to everyone here because I know it's a lot to put on a NCAA tournament. So surely we feel like we came up short of our goal, but I think we battled from minute 1 to minute 40, and I couldn't be prouder of my team and how hard we played. Some shots just didn't fall for us. They fouled a little bit too much, Utah is a very, very good team, very talented, hard to guard, really, really great at every position. So we had our work cut out for us, but I think, we were right there. And, I just told my team that, I couldn't be prouder. And I'm just so happy that I get to coach them every single day. And when I put on my Princeton shirt every day and represent them, it's such a great gift. So, this game doesn't define our season. We had an awesome ride, and our 5 seniors have been just incredible. They have been sort of just our nucleus, our glue, our everything, and Grace is one of them, and left this program in a really great place. They were sophomores when I got to Princeton, and they've just been amazing for me and my staff, and we'll miss them, and just so much. So.
Questions for the student athletes? John?
John Kuhn, Associated Press. Ellie, just looking at your totals, you were able to get 10 offensive rebounds tonight. And as a team, you guys were able to really crash the glass and get those second chances. And how important was that in terms of just being able to stay close to Utah and have a chance to win there at the end?
Yeah, I think it's a big thing for us. We always want to win the rebounding battle. I think, we get those second chances. It kind of deflates the other team. We get great open looks, so that's always a big focus for us. Came up short today, but it gets us those looks that we need.
Next question will come from Jen Hatfield on Zoom.
For either or both of you, throughout the game, it just struck me how much you guys just kept pushing, never looked frustrated, and I know you guys have done that all year. Just curious whether that grit that you showed today, is that something that each of you comes into Princeton with? Or is that something you developed during your Princeton careers? Can you just talk about that resilience that you showed a little bit?
I think that I can speak for Ellie that the second that this girl stepped foot on Princeton's campus, I think maybe when she was born with grit. That girl puts her body on the line every single day, every single practice, every game. I think you have to have it a little bit, and you have to learn it at this level. And I think that our team buys into that. It's something that we always preached, that toughness wins basketball games. And I think that, this team is really good because we do the dirty work. We do the work nobody else wants to do. And I'm really proud of us for that because it always keeps us in basketball games. And you want to leave it all out the floor. You don't want to have any regrets. And, I think that when you play with all of your heart, it's hard to have those. So, yeah.
Yeah, just going off that, I think it's a team standard that we have. It's a 40-minute game. You're always in it until that last buzzer sounds. I think we all really buy into it. We kind of feed off of each other. So we're always going to fight, no matter how the game is going.
You knew that Alyssa Peely was going to be, Josh Furlan, KSL.com. You knew that Alyssa Peely was going to be tough, but now that you got a chance to face her, I mean, how difficult was it to play against her, and kind of what did she do that made it difficult on you guys?
Yeah, I mean, she's a great player. She definitely, you always have to be working on her. Even it's not a one-man job. I think we did a great job helping each other out. I was on her a lot of the time, but my teammates are coming to swarm, coming to dig. It also opens up opportunities for the rest of their team, which makes it tough. I think, Utah's a great team. I think, we could beat them. But she's a great player, She played a great game today.
Any other questions for the student athletes? All right, thank you. All right, we're going to start with questions for head coach Carla Berube with William Alden on Zoom.
Bill Alden, Town Topics. Coach, you've talked about how this team came together after that 0-2 IB start. Just talk about the role the senior group played in that process to get you to this point today.
They had a huge hand in that. They all have different roles on this team, and they bought into what we needed from them. Two of them don't get a lot of minutes, but they are incredibly just important to us. The same as the Caitlin Chen. Everybody is, just their roles, player 1 through player 16 have just been just so important for us. And those 5 seniors have been the nucleus, our backbone, the players that I turn to when I need questions answered. And when we went down 0-2, we had a meeting, and the first thing Lexi Weger says is, like, what can I do? And how can I help? And that's just who they are. They're unselfish. They love their teammates. They love this program. And like I said, they've left it in a really great place. And I couldn't be more proud of them and thankful that I inherited them. And they've just been, so meaningful to me.
Josh Furlan, KSL.com. Coach, the Utah went up by 13 in that second quarter. What changed in your mind that allowed you guys to be able to just really kind of hone in and change the game and make it a close game?
Yeah, the first quarter was tough, and then parts of the second. I think we finally clicked a little bit better defensively toward the end of the second quarter, and started really helping each other out, helping inside, doing a better job of containing. I thought they were getting to the rim on us a lot. But they're tough, when you shoot the 3 as well as they do. Typically, I know they didn't tonight, but you really have to run them off the 3-point line. And then, they got to the rim, or they, dump off passes to Peely and Johnson. And they just have so many, threats out there. And, we just came together. And I thought defended a lot better from that point on in the second quarter throughout the rest of the game. There was some fouling that we did, and put them on the line where they got a lot of points that way. It's just tough because we play aggressive defense, I think at times we're just a second late on things, but huge credit to my players for just battling the whole time, never giving up. And that's that toughness, that physical toughness, but it's the mental toughness that they show game in and game out. That's what you saw tonight. You saw it on Friday night. And, that's who we are.
Next question will come from Jen Hatfield on Zoom.
Jen Hatfield, the next. Carla, your players talked about the rebounding a little bit, and kind of building off of that. I don't remember what the exact numbers were, but the rebounding disparity was pretty big early in the game. But then in the third quarter, it seemed like something flipped and you guys really closed the rebounding gap. What do you think changed as far as you guys getting more rebounds late in the game when you were making that push?
Well, we weren't making a lot of shots, so we needed to get some second chance opportunities, and I think they said we got to get after these. And they're a good transition team, so it's hard to send everybody on the offensive glass, but I think everybody was doing it because we needed those second chance opportunities. Yeah, I mean, we didn't get a lot of defensive rebounds because they made a lot of shots and they got to the free throw line a lot and made their free throws. And so, yeah, and we definitely made a push. We talk about, getting those second chance opportunities, and we took that to heart. And Ellie's gonna, she's gonna go after every single rebound she possibly can.
Isabel Rodriguez with the Daily Princetonian. Coach, I mean, it seemed like you guys were trying a couple different defensive options on Alyssa Peely and a couple of the other post players from the second quarter to the third quarter. Can you maybe just talk a little bit about the different options you guys tried and what ended up being most successful for you?
Yeah. Ellie got into a little bit of foul trouble in that second quarter, and I thought Parker Hill came in and gave us some really good minutes. There are times where we had to switch on her, which is really tough to put our guards on her. But, we were sending doubles anytime she put the ball on the floor, trying to take away baseline, which she's really good at scoring. I thought Ellie did a really good job, frustrated her. But there were just, I think, too many fouls. I think, she's a full team responsibility. It's not just on, one player. And, I thought we did a pretty good job. I mean, they ended up scoring 63, but, there was a lot of fouls at the end. They were in the 50s. If you said you're going to keep Utah in the 50s, you feel good about your chances. Yeah, I feel pretty good. But, we shot 28%. That's tough. You got to make shots to win basketball games. So I don't necessarily think it was our defense tonight. We just didn't make the shots that, we've been making and during the season, whether it's our legs were tired or, just sometimes you don't come up with those shots.
Any other questions for Coach?
Coach, I just want to ask you quickly yesterday, I think it was yesterday, you talked about kind of what your opinions were about neutral courts, now having experienced this game and how much of an impact the crowd seemed to have. Any extra thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it was great. It was a great atmosphere for women's basketball. If we could go to a neutral court and we can have a crowd like that, sure. But until, we can figure that out and make that happen, I don't know. I think you're going to still have, these games at, the highest seed. So I don't think that was the reason why we lost the game. I think any great crowd, just, energizes you. That's how you want to play. You want to play on a stage like this and in front of women's basketball fans. I think it's great for the game. I know it hasn't always been like that at Utah, and I think Coach Roberts has done an amazing job to get this program where it is. And I think good things are happening at Princeton too. Princeton basketball is on the map, and just want more and more women's basketball fans out there. So the neutral court, what I say about it's not going to make a big difference, but I will say that it was really fun to be here and on this stage.
That was your final question. Thank you. tonight's post-game press conference featuring the Sweet 16-bound Utah Utes. We will begin with an opening statement from head coach Lynn Roberts, followed by questions for student-athletes Alyssa Peely and Kennedy McQueen. Once players are dismissed, questions for Coach Roberts will follow. Reminder to those joining us in person and on Zoom to state your organization before asking your question. Those joining us on Zoom can use the raised hand function to ask a question as well. So go ahead, Coach Roberts.
Thank you all for being here and being here all season. It's kind of crazy. This is our last game at home. 15-0 at home, and that's a large part to you all covering our sport and covering our team and getting the crowds here, and it matters. And I really appreciate it. I want to congratulate Princeton. I'm very impressed with them. That was hard. They are tough, and you can see why they're such a good program. It's not just a good team this year. They're just a great program, well coached, disciplined, physical, fearless. We just couldn't pull away. But, man, I'm proud of our team. And we set out to do this a year ago. We lost in this game at University of Texas, and the goal was to be able to host so that we could have that home court advantage, and it made a difference. They were loud today, and it really does make an impact. But what a great time to be at the University of Utah. Look at how well the sports teams are doing across the board. I'm just so honored to be a part of it. But football, back-to-back, Pac-12 champions. Gymnastics just won the Pac-12 championship. Skiing won the national championship 4 times in a row. And that's a credit. I'm lucky to work here, and the administration that we have from President Randall, Mark Harlan, Charmel Green, the way you all support our programs is why we're all having this success, and the staffs, and I'm just so humbled and honored to be a Ute, and so incredibly proud of our team and what we've done this year, and we're not done. So, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Still a little damp from the water dousing I got, but I'll take it.
All right, questions for the student athletes?
Alex Fahar, Salt Lake Tribune. There we go. Kennedy, I'm curious, even you guys only made 1 of 15 3-pointers. It's the lowest of the season. Pretty uncharacteristic of you guys. I'm wondering how much of that was maybe just like some missed opportunities versus what Princeton does on defense, which they also have a good 3-point shooting defense.
Yeah, they're a great defensive team, and we knew that going in. I think they scouted really well, knew who we all can shoot the ball, and they tried everything they could to make the shots more difficult or just taking it away. But, yeah, I think it was also a combination of that and an off night. But, yeah, Princeton's an amazing defensive team, and we knew that going into the game.
And, Alyssa, you led the team in scoring today. You and Jenna were kind of like the dynamic duo inside. I'm curious how you kind of adjusted to Princeton doubling you, like basically on the catch throughout the game.
I just trust my teammates, and, if they're keying in on me, I trust that I could kick it out to them and they'll make the right play and the right read. Coming into these games, coaches told me they're going to key in, and so just let the game come to you. And I think that's what I've been doing these past couple games. Just kicking out to my teammates and seeing what's open, and it opens up for everybody else and for me as well as the game goes on. So.
Matthew Coles, Associated Press. Alyssa, you ended up on the ground quite a few times, and they were swarming you. And at the end, it looked like you had a little bit of a stare down with one of their players. How difficult was it with the physicality that they were trying to bring to you?
It was expected, so I think just the main thing I tried to do was just keep my cool, and if calls weren't going my way or just things like that, I just stayed composed and just kept my head down and kept working.
John Kuhn, Associated Press. Just looking at the turnovers tonight, you guys uncharacteristically had 20 turnovers. What did you do to try and adjust to that defensive pressure that Princeton was just bringing at you, especially in that fourth quarter?
Yeah, I think once again we knew Princeton was a great defensive team and they were going to cause some of those, but some of them were just uncharacteristic sometimes and just some in our control that talking at halftime we wanted to make an adjustment to do that and focus on that. So I think as the game went on we definitely cleaned it up and got better. But yeah, credit to Princeton. They're a great defensive team and you can tell that's a focus for them. So yeah, they made every possession hard for us.
Next question will go to Jen Hatfield on Zoom.
Jen Hatfield with the next. For either or both of you, Coach was saying in her opening statement how hard of a game that was. What did it feel like for you physically, mentally down the stretch while you were trying to put Princeton away?
I think we've been in a lot of positions like that, close games towards the end. And, those games, we've won a lot of those games. And I think we just stay composed and stay together, just stay tough throughout it all. So we usually end up on the winning end.
Yeah, just to add to that, exactly what she said. And then I think the crowd just, as soon as you think you're getting tired and then you hear the crowd roar, it gives you a huge boost of momentum. So credit to our sixth man as well. They did a great job tonight.
Josh Furlong, KSL.com. For both of you, just what does it mean now to be able to be in that Sweet 16 round and being able to have that opportunity?
It means everything. It's a lot of work, hard work paid off, I think. But like Coach said, we're not done yet, and I think we could make a run even deeper in the tournament. So, yeah, it means a lot just knowing that our hard work throughout the season is just paying off, and we're being recognized as one of the best teams in the country now that we've made it this far. And yeah, we just got to keep proving.
Yeah, exactly what she said, and I think all of us came and committed to Utah with that goal in mind, starting in the summer in that circle in our gym. Everyone knows that story, so just to see that goal pay off, we'll celebrate tonight, and we'll be ready to get back to work tomorrow.
Jay Drew, Deseret News. Kennedy, have you ever had 3 points taken away from your scoring column? And I guess my question is, what effect emotionally did that have on you guys when you came out and found out that you were not ahead by 9 but by 6?
Yeah, I don't know if that's ever happened to me before. Not that I can remember, but I don't think we were fazed by it. Coach Rob came in and told us at halftime that the 3 got taken away and no plans changed. That 3 points didn't make or break the game. We were all right, but yeah, just stayed steady and came out and fired up the same way we would have started if the 3 did count.
Kevin Reynolds, Salt Lake Tribune. This is for Kennedy. I'm just curious if you've talked to your mom at all in the lead up to this about what it means for Utah to be in the Sweet 16 and for you to be the one to kind of bring this program to it and to be a part of it. And if not, just what are the emotions right now for you being from Utah?
Yeah, I definitely had conversations leading up to her about this and just where the program was and where it is now and just how exciting of a time that is and for me to be a part of it. She's a diehard Utah fan, a huge Utah fan, so it's nothing but happiness, 1, for me, and then 2, just Utah as a whole. It's super cool to see the change, and she acknowledges that. And, yeah, emotions right now, just being from Utah and being able to – this was my dream as a kid, and to see it starting to come true is awesome.
Any other questions for the student athletes? All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Go ahead with questions for Coach Roberts.
Josh Furlong, KSL.com. Lynn, you guys built up a 13-point lead in that got at the beginning of the second quarter. What changed in your perspective that allowed Princeton maybe to kind of cut the lead, and kind of what changed from your side?
Well, excuse me. I think, you have to give them credit. They're a good team, and they're tough as nails, and they're not going to I said it in every timeout. They're not going to go away. They're not going to quit. So I think, you have to give them credit in that equation. And then I just thought we got a little sloppy. The turnovers, I about lost my mind. I don't know how many were just not smart decisions. But again, it's easy from the sidelines to say don't do that. It's hard in there. And again, they hang their hat on their defense, and they made everything hard. So in that second quarter, I think they just kind of started maybe playing. They might have been a little tight to start, or we kind of threw the first punch, and they bounced back. That's what great teams do.
Next question will go to Jen Hatfield with the next on Zoom.
Hi, Coach. Just building on that and your opening statement, what was going through your head when they cut it to 2 points? I think they did that a couple times. And what just made it most challenging to finally put them away?
I don't think, this group has been my team has been so consistent. I don't have like a fear. I didn't get tight. It wasn't like this, oh no situation. It was more, just controlling what we can control. And I honestly never thought I had a fear of like, oh my gosh, are we not going to win this? I had that confidence the whole time. And, I think, again, I'm repeating myself, but Princeton's tough. They don't go away. And they showed that against NC State. They were down 8 with 2 minutes to go and came back and won. I think you have to tip your hat to them.
Matthew Coles, Associated Press. When the game gets tight, how important is it to keep it light? And then second question is, have you been working on the gritty?
I need to. I did not want to do the gritty there, but I felt 8,000 eyes looking at me. I needed to do it. I'm better than that.
Okay. We'll see that later.
Yes. Yeah. Well, maybe we win again. I'll pull out a legit one. I think that's our team. That's our program in terms of keeping it light. We get to coach and play basketball for a living, and I think everybody does better when they don't feel pressure. Nobody responds well when it's that fear. And so I think I can set the tone with that and keeping things light. And I think our group does a good job of knowing when to laugh and when not to. And like when Gianna fouled on that 3. They were given a hard time in the huddle, and everyone ended up kind of just laughing. I don't know that I was laughing, but they were. But that's who they are, and I think it does help us down the stretch. Excuse me.
Do you have a question? John Kuhn, Associated Press. We've talked about a lot this season about your team's offense and how potent you are, but defensively in the fourth quarter, you guys were able to hold Princeton to just 3 baskets.
Yeah.
How much does that underscore just kind of the defensive evolution that you guys have had this season and being able to, survive a rock fight like this?
Yeah, it was a rock fight. That's a good way to describe it. I think that, that was the thing that we talked about in the offseason, and is we know we can score, but you can't rely on that always, right? And for us, we went 1 for 15 from 3. We shot 39% from the field. That's, a lot below. We shot 6% from the three-point line. That's 30% lower than our average. So that's why we've been focusing on the defense so much, and they've gotten better. It's nice to know we can get stops when we absolutely have to, and we had to in the fourth. And, they kind of crushed us on the boards in that third quarter, on the O boards. That was embarrassing at times. But in the fourth quarter, we pulled them down when we needed to.
Alex Vehar, Salt Lake Tribune. As formidable as Princeton is, I'm curious, to what extent do you think that maybe this game was not Utah basketball?
I don't think it was not Utah basketball. We tried to share it. There wasn't a lot of selfishness. We just, made some uncharacteristic turnovers and then just didn't shoot well. And sometimes it is a rock fight. Sometimes that does happen. But it's nice to still win. Right? That's the sign of a great team. So I think we still played the way we want to play.
Hey, Coach.
Hi.
Isabel Rodriguez with the Daily Princetonian. I'm just curious, for you seeing this kind of crowd here and seeing crowds all over the country, do you think that neutral courts are in the cards for the women's tournament going forward?
No one asks me. I don't know. I think it's great for our sport. It builds momentum. It certainly is a home court advantage. But it's, your season of work earns you the right to do it. And so we earn the right to do it. I don't make up how it works, so we'll take it. It was an advantage today.
Hi, Coach. Lisa Antonucci on her turf. It seems like the last 3 seasons, there's been some real pivotal moments, some crossroads moments. The 5-16 season, the loss in the second round last year. Is there one of those, or is there something this year that was really, you think, changed the trajectory the most, and or was there a moment when you felt like we're on our way?
This season? Oh, that's a hard question. I think I've shared, I think we've had a couple big wins this season that were close. The win against Ole Miss early in the season, where we were down with a minute to go, we win. I had a moment of okay, we took a punch in the face and responded. We win a close one to Arizona here, UCLA here. We beat Stanford here. All those were, down to the last minute. I think it's just the culmination of those games. I think elite, great teams win those games, and we've found a way to do it. So I don't know if there was one kind of shining moment, but just the culmination of winning those hard games that maybe in the past we weren't able to get over the hump there.
And then final question in the back here.
Excuse me.
Lennar Davis, KUTV. Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you.
Going into this game, what was the overall message to the team? And as the game started to become a bit of a roller coaster, how did you make those adjustments? What was that conversation like in between those timeouts as things start to become a little rattled for you guys?
Well, I think, what I told the team is that this is the game we've been wanting to play and win, right? We played in it last year, but the process of how we got here, the process of how we compete doesn't change. How we prepare, how we eat, how we do shoot around, nothing changes. So don't change how you approach it. It's got to be the same. I didn't need to hype them up, right? They know what I felt like I needed to do is just make sure that they don't approach it any differently mentally. And same thing when the game was tight. And, I just kept saying we knew this was going to be hard. It's going to be hard. Don't freak out. And don't play. I said this many times too. Don't play not to lose. Play to win. That's a 180 difference from each other. Don't play not to lose. Play to win. Because when you play to win, you don't play with fear. You don't play tight. You don't second guess yourself. When you play with fear, you do those things. So just repeating those messages over and over.
All right, that was your last question.
All right, thank you all. Go Utes.